Motorcycle enthusiasts spend countless hours fine-tuning, upgrading, and customizing their bikes to suit performance needs and personal aesthetics. Among these modifications, there's one component that often sparks debate: motorcycle shock covers. Are they a vital piece of protective gear for your suspension system, or just another overhyped, unnecessary accessory? In this video, we're diving deep into the world of motorcycle shock covers to find out if they're truly essential protection or just a waste of money. Let's start by understanding what motorcycle shock covers actually are. Shock covers, as the name suggests, are protective sleeves made of various materials, most commonly neoprene, vinyl, or even plastic. They are designed to wrap around your bike's front forks or rear shocks, shielding them from debris, water, mud, and UV rays. You might have seen these covers on motocross bikes, ADV bikes, or even some cruisers, often looking like thick rubber gaiters or stylish branded sleeves. But what exactly do they do? And more importantly, do you need them? To answer that, we first need to look at the role of your motorcycle's shocks and suspension. The suspension system in a motorcycle, whether it's telescopic forks up front or a monoshock or dual shock set up at the rear, is crucial for comfort, control, and performance. It absorbs the bumps and shocks from the road, maintains tire contact, and ensures stable handling. However, these components are exposed. Every time you ride, especially on rough roads or off-road trails, your shocks are bombarded with dirt, rocks, dust, and water. Over time, this can take a toll, even though suspension components are engineered to withstand tough conditions. Prolonged exposure to abrasive particles or moisture can accelerate wear. The fork seals in particular are vulnerable. When dirt gets past the seals, it can scratch the fork tubes, damage internal components, or lead to oil leaks. Once the seals start leaking, you'll likely experience diminished suspension performance and face expensive repairs. This is where shock covers claim to help. Advocates argue that shock covers act as the first line of defense. They cover the vulnerable surfaces and seals, keeping grit, grime, and water out. Especially for riders who frequently go off-road, traverse muddy trails, or commute in all-weather conditions, shock covers can significantly prolong the life of the suspension components. So far, that sounds like a pretty good reason to invest in them, right? But hold on, the other side of the debate isn't without merit. Critics of shock covers suggest that while the concept sounds good in theory, in practice, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. That's because some shock covers, particularly those made of neoprene or fabric, can actually trap moisture and dirt against the surface of the forks or shocks. Imagine riding through a rainstorm or washing your bike without removing the covers afterward. Moreover, in modern motorcycles, many shocks and forks come with built-in wipers and dust seals that are already quite effective at keeping contaminants out. Manufacturers design these components with high tolerances and protective coatings, making additional shock covers arguably redundant in most road riding scenarios. So who's right? Let's look at specific use cases and scenarios. 1. Off-road riders and dirt bikers. This is the group that benefits most from shock covers. If you ride on muddy trails, through sandy terrain, or in forests where twigs, rocks, and insects frequently hit your bike, shock covers can save your suspension. The additional protection helps prevent seal damage, keeps out sand, and minimizes the need for frequent cleaning. Neoprene fork socks or zip-up covers are especially popular among motocross and enduro riders. For them, shock covers are not just a convenience, they're almost a necessity. Second, ADV, adventure riders. Adventure bikes often cover long distances over a mix of tarmac and trails. In such cases, riders want a balance of protection and practicality. Shock covers, especially breathable and removable ones, help protect the suspension during long-distance touring where maintenance opportunities are limited. ADV riders also favor covers that are easy to remove and wash. 3. Daily commuters and road riders. Here's where the need becomes questionable. If you ride your motorcycle primarily on city roads or highways, the chance of your shocks getting extensively damaged by debris is lower. The seals and design of modern forks are usually sufficient for average road use. For these riders, shock covers might be more about aesthetics than function. If you like the look or ride in the rain a lot, it might still be worth it, but they aren't a must-have. 4. Customizers and show bike builders. In the world of bike shows and custom builds, shock covers are often used for aesthetic reasons. Chrome covers on cruisers, matte black sleeves on cafe racers. They're more about style than protection. If your bike doesn't see much road time and lives mostly in the garage or at shows, the functional argument for shock covers becomes moot. Now, let's talk about types of shock covers, because not all covers are created equal. 1. Neoprene covers. These are flexible, weather-resistant, and often washable. They zip on or stretch over the forks and are reusable. They're excellent for off-road and ADV bikes, but as mentioned earlier, they can trap moisture if not removed regularly. 2. Rubber gaiters. These are often seen on retro-style or cruiser bikes. They look like accordion tubes and fit over telescopic forks. They offer decent protection from rocks and dust, and their design helps them flex with the movement of the suspension. The downside? Installation can be a bit more involved, and they can sometimes crack with age. 3. Plastic fork guards. These are rigid shields mounted near the base of the fork, often on dirt bikes. They don't wrap all the way around, but provide good impact protection from the front. They don't trap moisture, which is a big plus, but they don't protect seals from fine dust like neoprene sleeves do. 4. Universal zip-on covers. These are the most versatile and easiest to install. They come with Velcro or zippers and can be taken off easily for cleaning. If you're not a hardcore rider but want occasional protection, say for a rainy season or a road trip, these are a practical option. Before we decide if shock covers are a necessity or waste, let's summarize the pros and cons. Pros: protect fork seals and shafts from dirt, grime, and stones. Extend the life of suspension components. Minimize maintenance for off-road and touring riders. Affordable and easy to install. Provide an aesthetic customization option. Cons: can trap moisture and grit if not cleaned regularly, may degrade over time and require replacement, not necessary for most urban or highway riders. Can be unsightly or bulky on certain bike styles. May interfere with suspension travel if poorly fitted. So, are shock covers necessary protection or a waste? It depends. If you're an off-roader, motocross rider, or someone who rides in harsh environments, shock covers are a valuable and inexpensive way to protect expensive suspension components. In your case, they're more of an insurance policy than a fashion accessory. But if you primarily stick to paved roads, live in a dry climate, and keep your bike clean and well-maintained, then shock covers may not be essential. In fact, if not maintained properly, they could cause more harm than good. Ultimately, the decision comes down to your riding environment, your maintenance habits, and your personal preference. For the best of both worlds, if you do choose to use shock covers, follow these best practices. Clean and dry your shocks and covers regularly. Choose breathable or well-ventilated materials. Make sure the covers fit snugly, but don't restrict movement. Avoid leaving them on after washing the bike or riding in the rain. Replace worn-out covers before they cause damage. In conclusion, motorcycle shock covers are neither a universal must-have nor a total gimmick. They serve a real purpose in the right conditions, but can be counterproductive if used carelessly. Think of them like gloves. They protect your hands from the elements, but wearing wet gloves all day would do more harm than good. What's your experience with shock covers? Have they saved your forks on gnarly trails, or have you ditched them after one rainy ride? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like the video if you found this helpful, and don't forget to subscribe for more honest motorcycle gear reviews and maintenance tips. Ride safe, stay sharp, and we'll see you in the next one.